Something not many people know about April Eberhardt is that she made her sixth grade class wear all black when her cat died. If she gets a minute to herself, she walks or rests. She hopes she is remembered for being a truth teller and a cycle breaker. This is April Rivers Eberhardt reading Imperfect Motherhood and the Power of the Womb.
Prologue. I am my mother's daughter, me, experiencer of an intense and intuitive love that even when the tsunami of dysfunction hit, the connective tissue of our bond would lead me back home. Verse 1, the vessel. Back home to Connie's womb, my first nest, established in 1976, fed by the placenta of her hope for a new thing, nourished by the passion of her heart, her maternal imprint stamped my identity. While I was yet being knit together in utero, her optimism was the umbilical cord that would feed life into me, even when her life would expire. God's chosen vessel that would give birth to her purpose. I am the fruition of Connie's purpose. Refrain. Relationships don't always thrive in the fullness of potential. There are detours and potholes that become monumental. Situations and circumstances become consequential. Learning to love through imperfection, fundamental. Verse 2, the journey. I am my mother's daughter. The defensive protector in me cut her teeth in a constant role reversal where the child became the parent and the parent became the child. In Arrested Development, I learned to navigate the unraveling that lingered in the shadows of more than a few self-medicated mental health crises. A daughter who learned to function off of gut feelings and instinct, wrangling through the weight of my mother's insecurities, the fracture of her failures, the sting of her flaws, the strangulation of her intoxication, the abyss of her gloom, and the pain of her guilt, while also relishing in the wisdom of her counsel, the genius of her creativity, the fulfillment of her affirmations, the hustle of her work ethic, the smell of greens in her pressure cooker, and those moments at the kitchen stove in the row houses on McNary Boulevard and Lyric Street, with the hot comb sizzling atop the spider, where on the table sat an old shoe container labeled hair box. As she got me ready for Sunday school, she was a paradox. She walked the tightrope between hypothetical and real, the difference between a finely painted portrait and a shattered mirror reflection, deflecting through her own wounds, placed in the vice grip of pressure and anxiety as she tried to break a vicious cycle. Refrain. Relationships don't always thrive in the fullness of potential. There are detours and potholes that become consequential. Situations and circumstances become monumental. Learning to love through imperfection, fundamental. Verse 3, full circle. I am my mother's daughter, and now my daughter's and son's mother. I have tasted and seen the nuances of rearing children, having patience, not having patience, praise and discipline, anger and forgiveness, anticipation and exhaustion. In my own maternal vulnerabilities, I see her face in my mind's eye. A mirror that bears a similar reflection, the strain of imperfection that has caused pause and helped me change my perception. The womb makes room for grace. Dear Mommy, I wrote in a letter after child number 3 and 2 years prior to her demise. You were a good mom no matter what. Now I understand. Thank you. Relationship status, complicated. Reprise. I am my mother's daughter, me, experiencer of an intense and intuitive love that even when the tsunami of dysfunction hit, the connective tissue of our bond led me back home. Epilogue. Denial, anger, bargaining, depression. Grief never really ends, yet onward to acceptance, I do now transcend. Thank you.